Hello YouTube, I'm Natanis, and today I want to do a movie review. I watched Romulus a little over 4 hours ago, and I just want to take a few minutes to give you my thoughts on the movie and tell you how I felt about it. With that being said, it is a new release, so I might release spoilers. So I'll give you 5 seconds to go ahead and click off this video, go find something else, unless you've already watched this movie. I'm not going to promise that I won't spoil anything, but I'll try my best not to. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, first off, let me just go ahead and score it, and then I've got to explain why I'm going to score it the way I'm going to score it. So I'm going to give it 5 skulls out of 10. So halfway. And I want to reiterate here right now that it is not because the movie is bad. The movie is really good. I highly recommend people go watch it. It's good. It is really dang good. So let's talk about some of the good points before we get to why I'm scoring it only at 5. Good things. First off, this is a return to the practical effects of the original Alien film. And holy mackerel, did they do good. The practical effects in it are absolutely amazing. If you don't know what I mean by practical effects, I mean everything is real. They are physically in a room. There are physical objects for them to interact with around them. There's very little CGI. I'd say about 80% of the movie is actually practical effects. I'm not entirely sure about that, but that's what it felt like to me. Now, because we are in space and because they are trying to reiterate that fact, there is a lot of CGI because obviously you can't do everything practical. But it just feels amazing to look at in a lot of aspects. The ships that we get to see in it, the technology, some of the buildings, some of the just random props and things sitting around, it looks good. It looks like that old 70s to 80s era future technology that looks like it's held together with just a wish and a prayer. It's amazing. I absolutely loved it. It looked really dang good in that aspect. The actual story of it is actually really good. The story is amazing. And this is something that I had a little bit of a debate with my brother, Colonel McDougal, or just McDougal, whichever you prefer to call him. In my opinion, in all of the other Alien franchise movies, that's Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, Prometheus, and Covenant, I never really got that sense in any of them that the Weyland Corporation is corrupt. If you're familiar with the canon and the extended universe, and what I mean by extended universe is all the books and even the role-playing games, Weyland Corporation is an extremely corrupt corporation, and one of the big things they're after is a bioweapon. They retcon that in this a little bit, but I think that that's a mislead. But this film, right off the get-go, really makes you realize just how corrupt this fictional company is supposed to be. And in all of fiction, I would say the Weyland Corporation is the most corrupt corporation out there in any kind of fictional universe. Nothing beats them, hands down. And this movie really drives home that point. Props to them, because I never got that sense from any of the other movies. As far as the actual alien, okay, so we all know this is an alien film. We're expecting to see an alien. The director didn't disappoint. You see the thing from the get-go. And that's one of the interesting things about this plot. So, if you haven't heard, Alien Romulus happens between the original Alien movie and Aliens. This movie takes place between those two chronologically, which is kind of an interesting take on it. And spoiler warning, this is one thing that I can't really avoid without talking about it. Supposedly this movie is what sets up Aliens and the whole how the planet got destroyed by aliens and how everybody died at this colony and everything. That you don't really see that happen. It's kind of, it's not even really implied either. There's no real indication that that is the same mining colony. It is a mining colony for sure, but there's no indication that it's the same one. Which was kind of interesting, because from what I understood of all the rumors of the plot going around, that this was going to be the intro into Aliens. So one of the other things you could infer from that is everybody's going to die. Simple as that. Doesn't happen, which I thought was really odd, because that's what they had been telling us, is that this is just an in-between movie. Didn't happen, so I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know why they would mislead us on that, but we would flat out know that the original alien that Ripley shot off into space off of her escape pod is actually the same one that sets off the events in this. So it's kind of interesting that we got one part of that correct, and I just heard thunder, so hopefully I can finish this out. We're going to move on from there, but just know I think the film is absolutely amazing. I definitely recommend it. Okay, so why am I only giving it 5 points out of 10? This is where we're going to get touchy on the ridiculousness of Hollywood, okay? And this is not my usual stick about stuff being woke or anything, because it's kind of implied in this movie, but it's not as big of a deal, so we're going to leave that out. Throw that out. There's nothing really woke going on. I don't know the actor's name. I wish I had looked it up before it, but I did like his portrayal of a android. However, this is where we start with some of this stuff, and this is the bare minimum right here. There is a big debate throughout the entire movie of if he's an android, an artificial person, or something else. Basically, they're arguing over his frickin' pronouns. Okay, cut the crap out. Okay, you're down 1 point from that. I didn't like that. I do like the actor's portrayal. I think it's amazing. Now, the second part is a continuity issue that I have with the film. And that is, from what we know of the Aliens universe, only a queen can produce eggs that produce the face huggers that then produce more alien drones. So how did they get all these alien eggs? They don't make that clear. The only thing they make clear is that they've only encountered this alien once. This is the original alien from the original movie. This is what they captured. They didn't go to the place that they got, that the crew member got infected and the alien burst from his chest. They just picked this alien up floating in space. In fact, it's floating in the debris of the ship. So where did they get all the eggs and be able to make all of these face huggers that then reproduce and took over the ship? That's not quite clear. Okay, words are hard. That's not quite clear. They don't really explain that at all. It happens. They got this one alien and it basically destroyed the entire thing because they thought it was dead. Which proves a point that the aliens are very, very tough to kill, even though they kill quite a few in this movie. A non-combat person kills quite a few of them. Okay, that doesn't make much sense. Not really a big ding on the story, because, I mean, Ripley wasn't trained. And she's fought many of them, and there's no telling how many she actually killed on aliens. I'm sure somebody out there in the world probably knows. They've probably gone through scene by scene and counted up how many she killed in aliens. But yeah, they kind of got that going on. Now, for one of the big problems I had, and I don't think anybody even noticed this, there's a lot of sexual imagery in this movie. I don't think anybody actually caught on. Granted, there was only like 7 of us in the theater, and I was like, now wait a minute. That looks very much like this. And there was a lot of sexual imagery, more so in the form of explicitly showing human reproductive organs. Now, they didn't show it flat out, they implied it heavily. I don't think that was needed at all. And this includes a sequence where we get to see the metamorphosis, which, to my knowledge, is not a thing with the actual alien. They just grow quickly. But instead, we get a sequence where it is basically in a cocoon and goes through metamorphosis. And it's what the cocoon looks like that I had a problem with. And even more so is when it bursts out of the cocoon is what I have a problem with. And it doesn't end there. There's a lot more stuff going on in this movie that implies sexual organs quite a bit throughout this entire movie. And I found that a little bit disturbing. I don't understand why they were doing that so blatantly, though I'm not entirely sure anybody else even noticed. But it is pretty blatant, and it happens several times throughout the film. And I'm just like, wait a minute, why? That's a dick. That's a dick. That's a woman's part. And it just kept happening. I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on here? I'm into the story, I'm into the visuals, but some of the stuff just had me questioning, like, what is this supposed to be? Why are they showing this? I mean, couldn't they have changed this a little bit to look different? There's a lot of things in there that just had me going, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look good. So, definitely don't take your kids to see it. Not that you should be taking kids to see an alien movie anyway. Yeah, there's a storm. Now, for the final thing that I want to talk about. So I mentioned that there's a lot of practical effects, and the practical effects look good, and they toned down the CGI for a good long section of the film. There's very, very little, only in places that you would expect to see it, like when they're out in space. Once they're on the station, or once they're on the ground, or any of that stuff, it's all pretty practical visuals. But the last 20 minutes of the film, they throw that out the window. There is so much CGI going on in the last 20 minutes. And I'm saying 20 minutes, I'm not exactly sure. If you go and you see the movie, you're going to know what I'm talking about when you get to the elevator scene. I'm just going to say elevator scene and leave it at that. Once they get there, throw the practical stuff out the window, because everything from that point on is CGI. Was not a big fan of that. And this is also the same point where the amazing story, the amazing sequences, and the fear of these things coming after you, spoiler, because I said things, actually I mentioned the whole egg sac thing earlier, so yeah, there's multiple things going on, multiple creatures. The amazing work they did with all of the story leading up to the last 20 minutes, throw it out the window, because then that's when the story just absolutely becomes garbage. Like, it is extremely bad at that point. It's just the finishing up of the movie, and without spoiling too much, they pull an Alien Resurrection on us with a new alien, and it looks terrible. It looks absolutely terrible. It almost looks like they took the concept art of the engineers and the concept art of the human hybrid alien from the end of Resurrection and combined it. the thing just looks terrible. And it's just like, what? Like, you guys did so good. This was an alien movie. And I was terrified. We were dealing with face huggers, like tons of face huggers the first hour of the movie. And then, oh, by the way, here's a whole bunch of aliens that they managed to get away from, and now you've given us... I don't even know if that's a real thing within the Aliens franchise. I haven't looked it up yet. I meant to actually look it up before I did this, but I didn't. And that is, I wanted to look up exactly what an alien abomination looks like. I don't think it looks like an alien abomination, but this thing is an abomination. It's terrible looking. And at this point is where the whole buildup of the story of what's going on and everything, and they get to this last 20 to 15 minutes of the movie, and they just throw all that out for a ridiculous monster. I mean, they could have put Pumpkinhead in there and it would have looked better. I don't know what they were thinking with that, considering how good the rest of the movie was. And then they also completely undo everything going on with this movie's android, cyborg, whatever. I don't like that they did that either. I mentioned that previously, but they were basically throwing the whole pronoun thing in your face. But yeah, up until that point, the movie is amazing. And for those reasons, that's why I've got... It would have been at least a 9 if it hadn't been for all that stuff. I didn't really care for some of that. And then, like I said, they did so well with all of the practical effects just for the last 20 minutes of the movie to throw the practical effects out the window. And here's CGI, 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 CGI. It was just like, you guys did so good. And then you ruined it. Again, though, I don't want to run you off from the movie. I want you to go watch it because it is a good alien movie. It's a heck of a lot better than Prometheus. I will tell you that. Probably better than Covenant, though of the newer movies, Covenant has been my favorite. However, Romulus is pretty dang good. It is amazing. I highly recommend it, even though I'm only giving it a 5 out of 10. And with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you later. I'm Natanis. Have a great day.